Okay, for number 10, all right, so it says a student is writing a research project about how technology has changed the way music is produced, stored, and heard. Produced means made, stored means saved, and heard means how it's listened to. Read the paragraph from this report and the directions that follow. The use of headphones, let me click on it. Well, let me click on it. Nope. Guess I'll highlight. All right. So the use of headphones has had a big effect on the way people listen to music. All right, that one's pretty straightforward. Again, this is the topic sentence. It is telling you what all of this stuff is about. So it's going to talk about how the use of headphones has had a big effect, had a result on how people listen to music. All right, this next sentence says, before the invention of headphones, music was a group experience. So this sentence is kind of telling me that headphones has made it a personal experience rather than a group experience, which it used to be. And I'm not sure if you've ever seen TV shows or movies from the past, but there was a big radio, and the radio was what it was kind of like a like a bonding source, what brought people together, and so everybody enjoyed the experience together. The next sentence says, people met at a concert hall to listen to an orchestra, or they gathered around a piano at home. So this sentence is pretty much saying they would go to a concert hall, kind of like one of the uh, passages we read before about the little girl who had her violin, I think it was. So she went to a concert hall. People would go to a concert hall and listen to a whole bunch of people play. So it was like a live experience. Sorry. And then this one says they gathered around a piano at home. So again, this is also a live experience. So you might see on TV where people are playing music in the middle of the mall, or playing music at home, and everybody's gathered around and they're singing together. So again, that goes back to it being a group experience. All right, this next one says friends. Let me highlight it. Friends listen to the latest songs together on a radio or stereo. So again, on the radio, it's not a live experience like the piano or the concert hall or the orchestra, but it is, people, like I would have a friend come over to my house and we would listen to music together, not on headphones, but as a group experience. So they would listen on a radio or a stereo. The next one says, even if one person listened to a record player or a radio alone, the event was not private. So if I was in my room and my sister's in her room, I could have the radio on. I'm listening to music, but it's not like a private thing. It's, if someone comes into my room, they hear exactly what I'm listening to. So, yeah. This next one says, uh, another person could walk in and hear the music or listen to it from a distance. So it's kind of like a car. Like when you hear someone passing by and they're listening to their music in the car, you can enjoy the music that they're listening to because, whether you're close in the car with them or if you're far away, you can still hear the music. The next sentence says, now, because of headphones, people listen to music by themselves. So again, now it's become, isolated, or what was one of our other vocabulary words? A solitary experience where people, do it by themselves. Some people actually do share earbuds or earbuds at least. But a lot of the time what headphones do is they let you listen to music by yourself. As a result, people do not know what their neighbors are listening to on their headphones. So this could be a good thing or a bad thing, to not know what people are listening to, but it does make it to where if there's 5 children in a home and everybody wants to listen to something different, you don't have 5 radios blasting 5 different songs and the parents are going crazy because the music that they're listening to is really loud or annoying or breaking their silence or their peace and quiet. So anyway, so people don't know what people are listening to. Again, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. If 20 people are on a bus, as many as 20 songs might be playing at one time. So with headphones, like our bus trip, on our field trip, a lot of people had their headphones, and there's so many different songs going on. But if if we didn't have headphones and it was back in the past, then if I played my radio and someone else played their radio and someone else played their radio, then I can't enjoy my song because I hear someone else's music. So anyway, 20 songs could be going at one time. And then last, it says, yet each person experiences the music alone. So again, they can enjoy their music. So this whole entire passage is all about headphones, how it used to be a live experience, how people enjoyed them together, and then now with headphones, they listen to it all by themselves. So it says, okay, I'm done. Choose 2 sources that could most likely give the student more information for the paragraph from this report. So 2 sources about headphones. And remember, they have to be reliable sources. They can't just be any old kind of source. So anyway, a newspaper editorial or newspaper editorial that expresses an opinion about 3 different brands of headphones. This one we can go ahead and cross out. I'm pretty sure you can tell why. Because 1, it has an opinion, and we don't want any opinions to add to this report. Again, if it's a report, research report, we don't want opinions, we want strictly facts. Now, if it was an argumentative paper, kind of like what we did with cheating, then yeah, opinion might be okay. But for a research paper for this type, not so much. The next one says an encyclopedia entry that describes how stereo and headphone speakers work to produce sound. That actually has nothing to do with, it has something to do with music, but not to add to, not to add to what we're trying to accomplish here. Again, it's talking about headphones. So yeah, that one would not work. The next one, an online article that suggests tips on how musicians can use technology to write their music on their own. So again, this has nothing to do with what they're writing about. Again, they're talking about headphones and music and all kind of other stuff. This next one says a video that shows how listening habits of people changed as music became available in digital formats. So a video could help if it's talking about how their listening habits have changed. Then yes, and how the formats are like the types, so the different types of music would help. And videos are always reliable, just so you guys know. The next one says a magazine article describing the changes that may occur in the future for the home entertainment industry. All right, sorry. So, a magazine article describing the changes that occur in the future during for the home entertainment industry. So this one is not it, simply because we're not talking about how things are. I mean, yeah, it talks about how things are changing up here, but a magazine article, a lot of the oops, not clicking it. A magazine article is not what is not a 100% reliable source. 100%. And this one says a magazine article that explores how electronic devices that store music separate people from one another. So that would actually fit here in this sentence here where it says, now because of headphones, people listen to music by themselves. As a result, people don't know what the other person is listening to, and people can be listening to many different songs at one time, and people experiencing their music alone. So this one, I would say, I'm going to go ahead and click. Again, this magazine article would work. It's talking about how electronic devices that store music separate people from one another. And again, I would put that here. And for this one, it says a video that shows how listening habits have changed. I would add that information that I get from this source after here, or actually it could go in any part, but it would definitely add to this topic sentence here. All right, so this next one, it says a student is writing a research report about the dangers of using plastic bags for shopping. He found a trustworthy source. Read source 1 and the directions that follow. Source 1. Every once in a while, the government passes, let me highlight. Every once in a while, the government passes a law banning store owners from giving plastic bags to customers for items they bought. If you notice, we have a new law, like people just voted. When people voted for President Trump, there was also something on the ballot, the voting ballot or voting slip that said, do you want to, take bags out of the stores? And people now have recyclable bags where they bring them in, they keep reusing it, because before people would just kind of toss their bags anywhere, and now that we have reusable ones, people don't toss their bags anywhere because it was a problem. So really that probably came from people who wanted to protect Earth and protect the animals. So anyway, even though plastic bags are one of the conveniences that we seem to be unable to do without, they are responsible for causing pollution, killing wildlife, and for creating other harmful effects. So convenience means making life easier, something that makes things easier. It says things that help people from doing things more easily. So these plastic bags, they help us carry our bags to the car. So if we have a whole bunch of little items, you don't want to carry these whole bunch of little items in your arms or in your hands. You need a bag for it. If it was something bigger, you probably don't necessarily need a bag. But anyway, so it's convenient for people, and people can't do without them. Let's be realistic. But it's a problem also. So this sentence afterwards is saying it's a problem. It's causing pollution. It's killing wildlife, and it's creating other harmful effects. So this next one says, once they are used, most bags go into landfills. Landfills are the trash yard or the dump yard. It says here where places where garbage is put. So they go into these landfills, this big yard full of trash. That's where when you see those big trash trucks collect trash, that's where they're taking it to the landfill. Each year, more and more bags end up littering the environment. So instead of, while it's helpful, people are, it's kind of like cans and plastic bottles. You see them on the floor and they're not supposed to be there. It could be harmful for the animals who are, they're living in the concrete jungle. It's not good for them and it's not healthy for them. So it's bad for the environment. This next one says, once they become litter, litter is trash. Once they become litter, plastic bags find their way into our waterways, parks, beaches, and streets. So this is a problem. We don't want bags in our water. We don't want bags in our parks. It's bad for the animals, and it's just filthy. We don't want bags in our beaches, because if we have it in our beaches, then they get into the waterways, and then it could suffocate animals, or if they swallow it, then it could kill them. And then on the streets, if, let's say, a bag hits someone's windshield, they're no longer able to see, and then it could cause an accident. So it has negative effects there. Where are we? This next one stops here. It says, and if they are burned, they fill the air with toxic fumes. So we definitely don't want we don't want it to pollute our air. Toxic fumes are like you know what fumes are. Fumes are like little toxic air gases. Okay. That fill the air and fill our lungs, and we don't need it in our lungs. We need 100% oxygen and not toxic oxygen. About 100,000 animals, such as dolphins, turtles, and whales, are killed every year due to these bags. So in 5 years, because of bags, 500,000 animals have died. And again, that's a problem, because the earth is like an ecosystem and we all work together. We need the animals for certain things, and if we don't have those animals, it'll completely throw off the balance of life in nature. So yeah, we don't want these bags causing trouble to the wildlife. And then the last sentence says, it takes about 400 years for a plastic bag to break down, which makes it bad for the environment. So it's not like an apple or an orange or a piece of lettuce or a tomato that, when it's sitting in the sun for a long time, it breaks down and goes back into the earth, and the earth recycles it and makes it brand new. But the bags, it takes 400 years for this thing to break down, and that means that my children's 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 children, like the bags that we use now, those people in the future, those bags will just be barely breaking down. So we can't afford to have these bags in the environment. So anyway, that's source one. Source one is talking all about how the government passes laws to ban store owners from giving plastic bags. Why? Because they cause problems, they kill animals, they're dangerous, they pollute the air, and all that other stuff. Okay? So now going to source two. Well, before we go to source two, it says, the student found another source. Read source two and click on one fact that supports the author's argument that plastic bags are dangerous. And the key word here is that plastic bags are dangerous. So there's some sentence in here, one sentence, sorry. There's one sentence in here that says that plastic bags are dangerous. So let's find it. So the first sentence says, plastic bags are very important with both stores as well as customers because they're cheap, strong, lightweight, and a clean way of carrying food and other goods. So this is a true fact, but it has nothing to do with plastic bags being dangerous. The next sentence says, plastic bags are used by everyone. Very true, has nothing to do with plastic bags being dangerous. About 100 billion plastic bags are used every year in the U.S. alone. Interesting fact, but has nothing to do with plastic bags being dangerous. These bags are non-biodegradable. They do not break down in the landfills, and they are one of the major pollutants of the sea. So non-biodegradable means it doesn't break down very easily. It's not like I said, the orange and the apple where it breaks down, because the orange is able to break down. But when we're saying non-biodegradable, that means it does not break down very easily. They do not break down in landfills, and they're major pollutants of the sea. That does say something about it being dangerous, but let's continue. The next one says, instead, people should switch to single-use bags. Interesting fact. But it doesn't say anything about it being dangerous. The next sentence says, this means customers would bring their own bags to the stores to reuse them over and over. Has nothing to do with bags being dangerous. The next one, people should also recycle the bags that they already have. Nothing to do with being dangerous. And their last sentence is, these can come into use for different purposes, like holding your garbage instead of buying new ones. So again, nothing having to do with it being dangerous. So the only one that talks about danger is this sentence here. All right, number 12. It says a student is writing a research project or a research report about the benefits of vinegar. He found a trustworthy source. Read source 1 and the directions that follow. So source 1, starting with the first sentence, and if you remember, guys, the first sentence is the topic sentence. So it says, even though many name brand cleaning products lines that line the shelves of stores, white vinegar is still known today as a very cost-effective and safe cleaner. Cost-effective means it's cheap, and it's safe. It's natural also. This next one says it can remove mineral deposits from glass, coffee makers, and other smooth surfaces. So it's a stain remover itself, it shows. So if there's some kind of deposit or stain on your glass, it'll remove it. If there's something on the coffee maker, it can remove it. And other smooth surfaces like maybe tables and chairs or something like that, it can remove it. The next one says it can also be used for polishing brass or bronze and is widely known as an effective cleaner of stainless steel and glass. So it polishes. Polishes means it's going to shine it. And brass and bronze are metal. And so it's going to shine those kinds of metal because sometimes they get a little yucky looking. And so they have to shine it, kind of like, making your car shiny and new. And it's used as an effective cleaner. So effective means good, good at what it does on steel and glass. The next sentence says, it is helpful because it does not contain the harsh chemicals that store products have. So if you look on a container of cleaning products container, it's going to have all these different ingredients in it, and a lot of them have pretty harsh chemicals. Like if you breathe it in, it's going to hurt you. If it gets in your eye, it might make you lose your eyesight. It has, all these different chemicals. If a child drinks it, they'll get toxic or poisoning, and they'll have to go to the doctor and have their stomach pumped, or to take all the poison or chemicals out. But vinegar doesn't have the bad chemicals that the store products have, so it is pretty safe. And if a child does drink vinegar, nothing bad will really happen. This next sentence says, stops here. Apart from cleaning with it, white vinegar is also used as a cooking ingredient and is known for a variety of health benefits, from soothing a sore throat to relieving skin burns. So this is saying people use it in cooking. I actually have one in my refrigerator. It's used for health. It's almost like an alcohol. It can soothe a sore throat. It'll make a sore throat feel better. Even though it stinks and smells pretty bad, it has good benefits. And anyway, so it also relieves skin burns. So if you got a burn on your skin, it could heal that. And the last sentence says, when people's first thought is to run to the store for commercial products, they should remember vinegar first and give it a try. So this last sentence is the concluding sentence. They're trying to leave the reader with something to think about. And so all this is saying is, yeah, if I have a stain on my mirror, instead of going to the store to get, a cleaning product, I should just go ahead and try the vinegar first. It doesn't hurt. So it says the student found information in different sources. Choose two pieces of information that support the claim in the student's paragraph. So again, the claims that this person is making is that it's cost effective and it's good for cleaning, it's good for health, and I can't remember what the other one said. So we need to pick two pieces of information that would add or go perfectly into the information that we already have. So the first one says, vinegar is a liquid consisting of mainly acid and water. That doesn't really fit into what we have here. Different types of vinegar include apple, distilled, cane, and malt. Again, we're not really describing the vinegar. We're just talking about the benefits of vinegar. And again, this is just describing it, not talking about benefits. Traditionally produced in Italy, real balsamic vinegar is very expensive. This is an interesting fact, but it doesn't talk about benefits of vinegar. Vinegar comes from the old French phrase, vinaigre, which means sour wine. Again, that has nothing to do with what any kind of benefits that the vinegar gives. Fruit or berry stains can be removed from hands by cleaning them with vinegar. So that sounds like a benefit. It cleans. So if you have like fruit or there's a kind of spice where it stains your hands, and if you use vinegar, it'll suck it out of your skin very easily. That sounds like a benefit to me. And the next one says, clothes will be cleaner if 1 cup of white vinegar is added to the last rinse when washing clothes. So that sounds like a benefit to me. If you have stains in your clothes, the vinegar will suck the stains out of the clothes. Pretty interesting, right? All right, number 13. A student is writing a research report about the opinions of colonists during the American Revolution. So here, this research report is about the opinions of colonists. So we could certainly get non-reliable information from this if we needed to. Anyway, so she found a trustworthy source. Read source 1 and the directions that follow. Source 1, letter to the Pennsylvania Gazette in 1775. My fellow citizens, we have suffered enough. The British government has no right to rule the colonies. The colonies are independent and should remain independent. The colonies should not have to pay taxes to a government that does not represent them. We should represent ourselves. So this whole part right here is somebody talking to citizens saying the British or the people who are conquering them don't have a right to charge them taxes, that they want to be independent and all that stuff. This next one says, the king has not acted to help us when we are in need. How can the king know what we need when he is not here? How can a small island nation control an entire continent, an ocean, an ocean away? That's strange. He is supposed to protect us and our trade, but instead he charges us higher taxes and house makes us house his soldiers in our communities. Okay, so here it's saying that that the king's not helping. He doesn't know what they need. It's saying, how can this small island nation like the Europe area, Britain or Great Britain, how can this small island control the whole entire continent? And then it says he's supposed to protect us and the trade, but not. Instead, he's charging them a whole bunch of taxes. And the British, when the soldiers are coming to America, um, he's giving them a place to stay in their homes, which they feel is not fair. So it's almost like someone coming to conquer our classroom, and those soldiers who are conquering our classroom are staying in our cafeteria or staying in the bathrooms until it's time for war. All right, so this next one says, for the good of our country and our people, we must fight to keep our independence. Do not let loyalists convince you that Britain can help us. We must help ourselves and make our own rules. If we can join together and break free of the king, we will become the most powerful country in the world. So, in this paragraph, they're just saying that they're trying to be a team. They're convincing them that, hey, if we want to keep our independence, we're going to have to fight, kind of like our social studies. And it's saying that they're going to have to make their own rules and break free from the king. So they're trying to get their freedom here. All right, so the student found information in different sources. Which piece of information supports the argument in source 1? So again, their argument is they want freedom, they don't want taxes. What else? And they want independence. They want to be free. All right, so we must work with our enemy until he sees that he is wrong. That's one of those elimination ones. They're definitely not saying we're going to work with our enemy. That's not what they're trying to do, especially if up here it says they're making us house their soldiers in our communities. They don't want them there. They don't want to work with the enemy. That's crazy. The next one, the revolution will put the country in so much debt that they will never be free. Yeah, it does say something about debt, but it doesn't say that they'll never be free. They will definitely have to fight, but we'll go ahead and keep it just to review the other answers that they have. America will never be happy until it is no longer under foreign control. So this one's saying when they're finally free, Americans will be happy. If they keep being under foreign control, under British control, they'll never be happy. And this next one says rebellion is so harmful in the eyes of all sensible people that it should be stopped. Rebellion is when you're against something and they're not, and this letter is a rebellion letter, so they're not against trying to stop something that they believe in. So here we have 2 answers left, and I'm going to go ahead and click C because America will not be happy until no one wants to be under control of someone else, and that's what this whole letter is about. It's definitely not this one because we already know that America got free, so definitely not B. Okay, for number 14, it says a student is writing a research project about the brain. He found a trustworthy source. Read source 1 and the directions that follow. Source 1 says, for years, people have believed that learning to play a musical instrument is connected to a higher level of intelligence. So, higher level of intelligence means you're extremely smart because you play an instrument. It just, I don't know, it just makes it a little more uh, advanced. It's almost kind of like how there's that one uh, text that was talking about video games adding to your quickness and your ability to problem solve and stuff like that. Well, instruments add to your intelligence. Now, a study proves this theory to be true, and this is a sentence that's pretty much saying that I've done my research. I'm going to tell you how I know that musical instruments lead to a high level of intelligence. So here is an example. There are four examples, or according to the text. A scientist in Zurich reports that playing an instrument actually changes the shape and power of the brain. So apparently there's a scientist guy in Zurich, and Zurich I believe is in Germany, and he reported, or his study reports that if you play an instrument, it actually changes the shape. So there's ways to uh, get images of your brain, what part of your brain is being active, um, and then how quick and how strong and as far as thinking power it is. This next sentence says, these changes affect a person beyond the time that he or she is playing the instrument. So they study the brain before they play the instrument, and they study the brain as as they're after learning the instrument, and they can see the before and after images and say that the changes affect the person beyond past the time that he or she is playing the instrument. So this is more evidence. And the last sentence says, people who have been taught to play musical instruments are better able to problem solve and plan. So again, connected to the last text where it was about video games, it helps them problem solve. Uh, how? Not quite sure. I don't play an instrument, but people who do play instruments would be able to answer that, and it helps them to plan. Probably because they have all these notes to study or learn, and how to adjust their instruments and how to listen for sound, and it's pretty complex. Anyway, the directions say the student found another source, read source 2, and click on one fact that supports the author's point of view about the brain benefiting from music. So again, the point of view, the author's point of view, he believes that the brain benefits from music. And so we want a sentence in here that connects or supports the brain benefiting from music. All right, so here we go. This one says music benefits people in many ways. This is just a simple topic sentence. It doesn't. It just is. It doesn't really say anything about it benefiting the brain. It just says it benefits people. This next one says research from experts at the Mayo Clinic shows that listening to music can help people cope with physical pain. Um, this is a sentence that does support um, the brain being the brain benefiting from playing music. So we'll keep that one we'll keep it to think about it. These studies also show, this next one, these studies also show that music can reduce anxiety and stress, and can even benefit the health of the heart. So that's also a sentence that talks about benefiting the brain. So we'll keep that one. And then it says listening to and playing music is connected to memory and an increased ability to learn. And that one also shows benefits of music and the brain. And here, the last one, it says people with certain medical conditions showed improvement in physical functions after listening to music. So there's only one sentence here um, that is a fact that supports the brain being benefited from music. So all of these are extra detail, and all of these do connect. So it'll be pretty hard to kind of go through these. But anyways, it says listening to music can help people cope with physical pain. But in here, if we go back to um, source one, because uh, we want this information to connect to this information. So all the sentences that I highlighted connect to the brain benefiting from music, but we also want this sentence to also connect to higher level of intelligence, if that makes any sense. Okay, so this is one of those difficult questions because you have to make connections between two sources. So research from experts at Mayo Clinic um, shows that listening to music can help people cope with physical pain. Right, so that doesn't have to do with intelligence. It's just talking about how it benefits for the body, but not for the brain. So we can take that one out. These studies also show that music can reduce anxiety and stress, and can have a benefit, can even benefit the health of the heart. So this sentence here has nothing to do with a high level of intelligence. So we can go ahead and take that one out. It does talk about, like your emotional state, but not your intelligence state. This next one says listening to and playing music is also connected to memory and the ability to learn. So your memory and your ability to learn is all connected to intelligence. So I think we can keep this sentence. Let's look at the next one anyway. It says even people with certain medical conditions showed improvement in physical functions after listening to music. So again, this is all about physical was one of our vocabulary words. So physical is talking about the body, not necessarily the brain, and definitely not talking about intelligence. So we can take this sentence out, and then we are left with listening to music. Listening to and playing music is also connected to memory and an increased ability to learn. So I hope that kind of made sense. So it's a whole process as you're taking this test. Do not immediately stick with the first one. Use everything that's on this page to answer the question. It's not a lot of text and it might seem easy, but they just want to know how your brain works. And if it says click 2 and you click 1, or again, if you click 1 and one is right and the other one's wrong, it will mark it wrong. So anyway, going to the next one. Number 15. All right, so a student is writing a research report about the benefits of chewing gum. Read the paragraph from this report and the directions that follow. So the first sentence says, so this is going to be a long one. Chewing without eating seems like such a ridiculous habit. yet people have been chewing gum for thousands of years. So, um, so when people chew, the natural response, this sentence here is saying that the natural response is to swallow after you eat. And if you don't swallow, it's kind of ridiculous to chew something if your goal is not to swallow it. And it says, and yet means but or so, or I'll say yet in here means but. People have been chewing gum for thousands of years. So people, even thousands of years ago, have been chewing gum, and even though they're not swallowing it, it's just something to do. And for the test, you guys will get gum, and it's said that if you chew gum while you're taking a test, it makes your brain work a little harder, and it's a benefit for your brain, just like in the last passage. Anyway, next sentence. It says, gum is a good booster of mental performance and has many benefits. So just like I said, so it's a brain booster. Mental means something with your brain, so it's a brain booster, and it has many benefits. That small sentence says so much. The next sentence says, the latest study of gum chewing comes from a team of psychologists at a St. Lawrence University. So this sentence is just saying that they have proof of everything that they're saying about it connecting to your brain and it having benefits. And there's a study that comes from this psychologist. And psychologists are people who study brain behavior and people behavior or human behavior. Sorry, they study human behavior and brain behavior and why people act the way they act. And I'm pretty sure that there's people who wonder, hey, how does gum help people think? So this next sentence says, those who were studied, who were allowed to chew gum, did better on 5 out of 6 tests. So you guys are going to be taking a test soon, like I said, and I'm going to allow you to chew gum. I did this to my students last year. Kind of like an experiment, but more so for just a brain booster anyway. I let the kids chew gum, and a lot of my kids did really well on math and in English. So it said 5 out of 6 tests. So if a person took 6 tests, they did, whoever the subjects were, whoever the people they studied were, did good on 5. The next one says, the sugar content of the gum had no effect on test performance. So this is saying however much sugar was in the gum didn't result in them failing or passing on the test. It was just the simple fact that they were chewing gum that helped them with the test. So again, it could be a highly sugary test, which I will not give you during the test. So please don't ask me for Bubblicious or anything like that. But the amount of sugar that was in the gum didn't do anything had no effect on it. It seems that the act of chewing gum wakes us up, allowing us to be focused on the task at hand. So again, even though it could have been high sugar gum, low sugar gum, just the fact that people are chewing, it just kind of wakes you up. It keeps you active, because your brain is working to keep your mouth chewing, and so you're able to focus on what you're actually doing. The next sentence says, another study, so they did research or whatever research they did. It said another study shows that chewing gum decreases feelings of sleepiness. So if you're chewing gum, it's not saying that you will not fall asleep, because there are some people who will fall asleep with gum in their mouth. But this study shows that mint gum, sorry, If you're chewing mint gum, it just decreases feelings of sleepiness, so it keeps you it's almost like a how do you say, like a awake gum. That even makes sense. A gum that'll keep you awake. All right, so this next sentence says the results of scientific research shows that chewing gum may be good for a number of things. So again, there's research out there. People do research on people, and they want to know what gum can help them do. And so there's a study that gives results about what they learned. And this next sentence is a detail from the one before. It says chewing gum can help improve memories, reduce stress, and increase focus. So up here it says chewing gum may be good for a number of things. The number of things that they just told you is in this sentence here: improving your memory, reducing stress. So if you are taking a test, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be stressed. You guys are going to be under a state of panic. You're going to be scared. You want to pass. I know you guys. You guys are smart. You guys want to pass. But when we give you guys gum, we're hoping that uh, it'll reduce the stress, and that's a lot of time what it does. Like, you guys might start off at the beginning like, oh my gosh, and then slowly after number one, number two, number three, and more chewing and more chewing and more chewing, you guys will start to relax, and then increased focus. You'll, of course, you guys know what that is. You guys will just focus more, and that's what we need you to do during the test because it is a long test. In addition, it can increase concentration, manage weight, and overall oral health. Now, again, this sentence connects to up here where it says gum may be good for a number of things. So in this sentence, they gave us 3 things that it's good for: 1, 2, and 3. And this one, it gave us another 3, so that's a total of 6. 1, 2, and 3. So it helps you increase concentration, which is focus, manage your weight. There's some people, they say that if you chew gum, it makes you less hungry. And if you're less hungry, you're not going to want to eat more and eat more and eat more and eat more to gain weight. And the other one says oral health. And oral health is your mouth health. So it'll make your mouth health better. All right, for this, for the instructions, it says the student found 2 sources. Read source 1 and source 2. One of the sources is trustworthy. Click on 2 facts from only the trustworthy source that supports the student's claim in the paragraph report. So again, we're connecting this information with one of these sources. And one of these sources is reliable, and we have to click it in the reliable source. So there's a lot going on here, and this one's a pretty difficult one. So you will need to select the sentences in the correct source, because they're not telling you which source is reliable. You just have to be able to know. So this whole entire paragraph is talking about how there's benefits to chewing gum, and people have been doing it for thousands of years, and there's research that they've done. It improves mental performance. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Keeps you awake, keeps you focused, keeps you able to concentrate, and all kinds of other things. So we're going to connect one of these sources and its information to what was said up here. So now looking at the 2 sources, we have source 1, and it says why gum is important, by Marissa Johnson, PD, psychologist. And then the website is www.psychologynow.org. And the last date of the website was updated December 13th, 2011. And the other source says the varieties of gum. So varieties of gum is the different kinds of gum. by Jim Donald, and he's a college student. And the website is www.collegestudents.blog.com. And this should right here already tell you that this is going to have a whole bunch of opinions. It's not reliable. So we really don't even have to read this text. This is not what we're concerned about right now. We've already found out which one is the reliable source. And again, guys, if it's a blog or it's the description of the site sounds like a blog, it is not the one you want to go to. So we'll still look at the date and website information, July 22nd, 2013. So again, we can completely disregard or eliminate source 2, and we can focus on source 1. So we're going to focus on source 1 here. So now it says, now that we found the trustworthy source, now we can click on the 2 facts that supports the information from what we read on top here. So now it says, why is gum important? And again, we're looking for the 2 important sentences. And it says, chewing gum can increase the blood flow to the brain by 25 to 40%. So this does talk about information up here because it talks about mental performance. What else? Taking tests is mental performance. Waking you up is your brain. Focusing on your task, that's the brain. Being awake is also technically officially the brain. Memory is the brain. Stress is connected to the brain, to if you knew it or not. Focus is the brain. Concentration is the brain. Weight, not necessarily. Oral, not necessarily, but most of the stuff in here is talking about the brain. So we could click that. The next one says, what is important? This is important because an increase in blood flow means an increased amount of oxygen to the brain. So that is also connected, of course, there it is there, to the brain. So the more oxygen you get to the brain, the more better you're able to learn and focus and concentrate and all that stuff that is set up there. But let's look at the other sentences. Anyway, it says when you look at a stick of gum, or a stick or chunk of bubblegum, it appears to be a simple product. It's just easy, looks like gum. The next one, bubblegum is made of 5 main ingredients: chewing gum base, sugar, softeners, flavorings, and colors. It's all like interesting information, but it has nothing to do with the brain. But again, we'll keep reading. Gum base puts the chew in regular chewing gum and the bubble in the gum. So the gum base, this gum base right here, is what makes you able to chew and then makes you able to blow the bubbles. This next sentence is softeners are made to refine vegetable oil products, and help to blend the gum base ingredients to keep it soft. So I mean, I don't really have to read all this stuff because it's just talking about the gum. But the 2 that are connected to this up here are the 2 that I just highlighted. If you want to read the extra stuff that's down here, you can. Just push pause. But I'm going to move on to number 16. All right, for number 16, it says a student is writing a research report about how using lip moistener can be habit forming. Habit forming means form habits. So if you keep putting moisturizer on your lips, whether it's chapstick or lip oil or whatever, it forms habits. And she found a trustworthy source. Read source 1 and the directions that follow. So source 1 says, the wind and lack of humidity can cause dry, cracked lips. So this sentence is simply saying that the more wind that comes at you, it dries out your skin and your lips because your lips are pretty sensitive. So the more wind that comes can cause dry and cracked lips. If your lips are dry, when you smile, it makes it crack. Um, Lack of humidity. So lack of humidity is when the air does not have moisture in it. So if the wind that's coming at you is not moisture, doesn't have like a little bit of water in it, then it's gonna take again the oils, natural oils from your body, and then that's why people need to put the oil back onto their lips to keep it from being dry and to keep it from cracking. It's kind of like I'm trying to think of something. Can't think of anything good here. Um, but going on to the next sentence, it says this usually happens in places where there are cold, long winters. So normally people get dry, cracked lips when they're in places that have long and really cold winters. Again, cold is air that is so cold and so dry, and then mix that in with the wind, your lips are going to be in really bad condition. The next one says, um, there are many products that have been created to help. So, for this problem of dry, cracked lips, they have products that can help you. This next one says many people resort to using lip balm or moisturizer to soften their lips and ease the burn of cracked lips. So, the first thing you think of when your lips are cracked, and let's say your lip is already cracked, and it's painful to eat anything that's spicy, it's painful to smile, it's just really uncomfortable. So the first thing people do is they go to lip balm and they go to moisturizer. This softens their lips and it helps it heal, to be honest with you. So if like you do have a cracked lip, you just put some moisturizer on there, and the moisturizer that gets into the crack will eventually heal. So I just gave you guys a life hack. um, Lip balms come as a great help because they keep lips moist and prevent them from getting chapped. So again, just like I said, it keeps your lips moist, and if you put it on there before they get dry, it's even better. So you don't want to wait until your lips get dry and then put on chapstick. If you put on chapstick beforehand, if you do have cold wind or dry wind coming at you, it's not gonna. It will take away the moisture, but it won't take it away as quickly as if you didn't have the oil protection on your lips. Sometimes, however, it becomes more than just a lip moisturizer. So they're saying that there's other reasons why people put lip balm on their lips, and it's more than just moisturizing the lips. And it says some people actually become dependent on it. So then at some point it stops being, oh, I need to protect my lips. Then it becomes, oh, I need it, even if they don't need it. So dependent means they need it. So that means, yeah, so that sentence is saying it's now becoming a habit, just like it said in the instruction, or not instructions, but directions up here. People have been known to admit that these colorful flavor sticks have become an important part of their lives. So people know that, they look at the colorful ones, they think it's pretty. Some of them smell good, have the smell good flavors, strawberry, cherry, coconut, and all that stuff. And then it stops being, oh, I need it for my lips. It becomes, oh, I just want to wear it. It makes me feel, I don't know, beautiful, for girls at least. And there's the flavorless and colorless, or an odorless lip balm for boys too. Anyway, so it says more often than not, people form habits by reapplying the moisturizers more than they need. So what this is saying is, like, they put on moisturizer hour one, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I need some more lip balm, and they put it on hour two, and then again hour three they put it on some more, and then it becomes a habit. The next sentence says, this may be due to the actual ingredients they contain or act of applying them. So this sentence is not saying it's a fact, it's just more of an inference saying, well, it's probably because of whatever the actual ingredients are, and just applying it makes people feel good. So anyway, the directions say the student found information in additional sources, and we're going to look at these sources, and we're going to choose two pieces of information that support the author's argument that people can become dependent, like really needing lip balms in source one. So again, they do it for chapped lips, and then again it becomes a habit. Okay, so which one shows that they're now, which of these is showing that it's now a habit where people need it? Okay, so again, as we're looking at these, try to connect it to people become dependent on the lip balms. All right, so oops, didn't even click that. Lip balms are not the only option to keep lips moist. For this one, we can't say that this connects it to it being a habit. This has nothing to do with the habit. It just says other people have other choices to keep their lips moist, and they don't have to use it, but it doesn't show that they're dependent and showing that I need it. Many varieties of lip balms contain dyes, flavors, fragrances, and sunscreens. Again, this is an interesting fact, but it has nothing to do with the addiction or their need to have it. It just says, yeah, there's dyes to give it color, there's flavor to give it the flavor, smell, fragrance. These two go together, and then sunscreens protects it from the sun. The next one says a lip balm can be directly applied with a finger or by using a lip style tube. Again, this has nothing to do with an addiction. It just tells you how to put it on. Even if people do not have chapped lips, they may still use the lip balm because it becomes a habit. So this is a keyword that says that they're not needing it because they have chapped lips. They're just doing it because now it's a habit. We're going to click that one. People have even chosen to make their own lip moisturizers using petroleum jelly, beeswax, and vitamin E. This one does not have anything to do with an addiction. It just says that other people have options. They're making their own lip moisturizer. So we can cross that one out. And then the next one says some of the ingredients such as menthol and camphor actually dry out the lips, causing people to reapply them more. Reapply means put it on again, and put it on again, and put it on again, and put it on again. So if they're putting it on again, they're saying that this ingredient, or these two ingredients, dry out the lips. So if these two ingredients are drying out the lips, then that makes them have to put it on again, which leads eventually to them being addicted or obsessive or reliant on or dependent on the lip balm. So that's that. Going to number 17. All right, so it says a student is writing a research report about healthy foods. He found a trustworthy source. Read source one and the directions that follow. Source one, It says, let's break it down sentence by sentence. If you guys notice, I'm not going straight through this stuff. I'm really processing it. I'm really taking everything in, and I'm sending it back to you. So you might as well just practice now. I'm not saying you have to do this, but it's definitely helpful as you read information, because you should be able to break it down sentence by sentence by sentence. Anyway, so source one. Recent research shows that certain foods can help you get a better night's sleep if consumed in the evening, and consumed is highlighted, which means they think you might not know what that means, and we should, because that was our vocabulary word. And consumes means eat. So this says recent research has shown that if you eat certain foods at night, if you eat in certain foods, it'll help you get a better night's sleep if you eat it at night. Yeah. So the next sentence says, for example, almonds are a great bedtime snack because they contain magnesium, which helps the muscles relax. So this sentence is adding on to this sentence here, and it's saying that almonds are good. It's a good bedtime snack because it has magnesium, and this magnesium helps muscles relax. And if you're relaxed, then you're able to fall asleep. This next sentence says, bananas also contain magnesium, and in addition have potassium, which is connected to restful sleep too. So bananas have the magnesium that helps your muscles relax, and it also has potassium, which helps you have a good sleep. So bananas have like this double advanced kick to it, where it relaxes your muscles and it helps you have a restful sleep. This next sentence says, tart cherries, whether they are fresh, frozen, dried, or juiced, can help a person fall asleep and stay asleep. So tart cherries, that means like they're sour. It says they'll help people fall asleep and stay asleep. So this is actually good because, again, once you fall asleep, you don't want to wake up. So that is a benefit. The next sentence says they contain properties that help the body produce melatonin, which is a necessary hormone for sleep. So if you know anything about like your natural chemicals in your body or hormones in your body, melatonin is a hormone that helps you sleep. And the next one says healthy diets should include daily consumption of at least one of these foods. So if you want to be healthy, you should have almonds, you should have bananas, you should have tart cherries, and all of these are helpful sleep ingredients or foods that you could eat. So it says the student found 2 additional sources. Read source 2 and source 3. One of the additional sources is trustworthy, and it says click on 2 facts from only the trustworthy source that supports the author's argument. So the author's argument is that this topic sentence here, they're saying that there's foods that help you have a better night's sleep. So let's look at the sources. And again, we're trying to find the one that's reliable, and we can completely ignore the one that's not reliable. And source 2 says, Ease Your Pain by Richard Weiss, a blogger. And I can highlight that because I think you know what that means. And the site was updated January 2010. Source 3 is Improving Health by Tammy Craig, a registered dietitian. And it looks like this one here is the trustworthy source. We can ignore source 2. So while we're looking at source 3, we can try to figure out which one gives information about having a better night's sleep. So the first sentence says, for years, doctors have recommended that patients eat plenty of fruits and vegetables each day for a sound health. Now, that's a good fact, but it does not talk about helping with sleep. So we can take that away. The next one says, can I not click it? Interesting. The next one says, recent studies confirm these recommendations, and they specifically show they contain fruits and vegetables that are good for you. This has nothing to do with sleep, so we can take that out. It's not really highlighting anything. And this one says, for example, cherries contain many vitamins, chemicals, and antioxidants that make you healthy. Now, this is just talking about health, not necessarily about sleep, so we can keep that out. The next one says let me see if I can highlight it. No. It says a study completed by USDA shows that eating 2 cups of tart cherries reduces pain from a condition called gout. Gout is not a disease, but it's like a health problem where you your ankles swell and you have like swelling. So that has nothing to do with sleep. This next one says, furthermore, eating tart cherries can help you sleep. Boom, there we go. The next one says, researchers from the University of Pennsylvania conducted a study that demonstrated that drinking cherry juice on a regular basis helped people fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. Boom, there we go. So this one has the information that we need. Now, mind you, these ones, even if you pick the wrong source, they're still going to let you click. So what you want to do is make sure you don't make the mistake of picking the wrong source. You want to make sure you go to the right source, because again, if you click to here, it will let you click next. But they just want to know if you can problem solve and pick the correct one. And the last one, it says a student is writing a research project about solar energy, and that's sun energy, use in schools. Read the paragraph from her report and the directions that follow. And again, we're going to break this down. It says the power of the sun should be used to run a school. So this child or student thinks that we should use the sun's energy to keep a school running. The best part is that solar energy is environmentally friendly and renewable. So you can use the sun over and over and over and over and over again. It comes up every day. And it's natural. It's a natural source, so it's not going to harm the environment. That's why it's environment friendly. This next one says it is a natural energy that comes from the sun, which, unlike fossil fuels, will never run out. So fossil fuels, if you learned in science, is the gas or petroleum, is like coal and things like that we have to dig up to get energy. But the sun is natural energy, and it will never run out. It's been out for millions and millions of years. It's not going anywhere. So we don't have to worry about, running out of it because we've dug it up so much. What makes it different from traditional energy sources is that there is no air or water pollution caused by solar energy. So when we have factories for energy, like the electric companies that we use to give light to our homes and schools and buildings now, They do cause air pollution and water pollution. The smoke that goes into air from making all this stuff. But if you do traditional water source, traditional energy sources like the sun, then it will not, pollute the earth, water, or air. The next sentence is short. It says there um, are also no greenhouse gases released. Greenhouse gases are not very good gases. While it used to be expensive to put in solar panels, the cost of a solar energy system has gone down a lot. So they're saying that um, how do I say? So solar panels are helpful to people because we don't have to use up resources that we dig up from the earth. And it was expensive in the past, but now we're trying to encourage people to use, to have solar panels. And so the price has gone down to encourage people because if it's so expensive, no one's going to want to get it. It's now easier than ever for schools to switch to solar energy to get power. So schools can easily get it. The next sentence says, the energy from the sun is changed into electricity to power the building by using solar panels. And that one's a pretty easy one. This next one, these panels or pieces, I think we talked about panels, about that spaceship. These panels are usually put onto the roof for a building. So it just sits on top of the roof. That's the best place for it to be because the sun is on top. You don't want to put the solar panels on the ground or underneath the house because the sun's not going to get it. And it looks like this is a long sentence here. Most systems also use solar batteries to store the energy so that during the night or on cloudy days, the school can still be powered by energy from the sun. So they have these batteries where, it's kind of like a plan B. It's like a plan B, and it's just just in case the sun's not out or the clouds are blocking the sun. You can still get energy even if the sun's not out. But depending on where you live, if the sun's always out, then you'll probably not have that problem. So the directions say, the student found information in different sources. Choose 2 pieces of information that support the claim in the student's paragraph. So we're looking for 2 pieces of information that talks about the sun being used in schools. Okay, we're looking for this right here. And if you also look up here, the report is about solar energy in schools. Okay, so anyway, oops, didn't do that. The student found, plants use solar energy to make their food. Good information. Doesn't talk about us using it in schools. 2 types of solar energy are called passive and active. Good information. Doesn't talk about using it in schools. Most common solar energy systems are very easy to install. So here it was talking about solar energy systems. It also talked about switching it. Where is it? Putting your panels into your buildings, putting it on top of the roof. And so we can say yes to this because it connects to what we're trying to do with energy in the schools. Solar energy has been coming from the sun for billions of years. Yes, but yeah, that's just like a basic fact. You don't necessarily need that. Solar energy has been used to cook food and to heat swimming pools. That doesn't have anything to do with solar energy in schools. And this one says solar energy systems will usually pay for themselves within about 5 years. So here it says, uh, where is it? Um, most systems, let me see. Most systems use batteries to store their energy so they can do it at night. Um, it's easier to switch down. Oh, and then the other one is here where it says energy from the sun changes the electricity into power uh, on the solar using solar panels. So it pays for itself. So even if you do buy this, where is it, expensive to installs, and it's expensive, eventually over some time it'll pay for itself because it's natural energy. So we are finished, and I hope you understood it. If you need to go back and play it again, or go back to a question that may have confused you, I highly suggest you do that. And I can click end.